In the book of Colossians chapter number 2, verse number 14 up to verse number 15, the Bible speaks about Jesus Christ going to the cross. And Bible mentioned one wonderful thing about Jesus when he went to the cross. And I read it says, having wiped out the handwriting of requirements that was against us, which was contrary to us, he has taken it out of the way, and having nailed it to the cross, having disarmed principalities and powers, he made a public spectacle of them, triumph over them in it. It means that through the death of Christ on the cross, Jesus Christ overcome demons, powers of darkness. Jesus Christ overcome them all. He overcome all demons, all powers of darkness, all witchcrafts, any kind of demon, even Satan himself. Jesus Christ has overcome him. When Jesus Christ was going to the cross, we can all imagine his appearance to the cross. I want everybody listening to me to have a picture in your mind, to have a picture of how Jesus Christ looks like when he was going to the cross. How was his appearance? Jesus Christ was looking beaten up. He has been beaten up, full of blood. He was slapped. He was threatened all kinds of beatings. But Bible begin to give us the spiritual side of his appearance. That even though he appeared before man as beaten, Bible said there was no glory to be called a human. He was beaten. He was treated spitefully. But Bible said through this death on the cross and the pain that he went through, he has overcome all principalities and powers. Now, let me ask you a question. If we are to look at Jesus Christ's physical appearance, can we say that he has overcome demons? No, he has not overcome demons. Because in physical appearance, this man was beaten. Even when they slapped him, he could not slap them back. When they spat on him, they spat saliva on him. This man was not able to spit some on them back. This man was slapped and they told him that, show us who slapped you. He was not able to point that person out. So in physical appearance, Jesus Christ has been defeated. When it appears in the sight of man, he has been beaten. But spiritually, Bible says spiritually, through this pain that he went through, this threatening, this beating, he has overcome principalities on the cross. He has overcome demons. He has overcome powers of darkness on the cross. Now, what are we learning from this that happened to Jesus? What are we learning from it? Now listen, when we talk about spiritual strength, it will manifest as weakness in the flesh. Anybody who is having spiritual strength, in the sight of man, they will say that you are weak. Let me give you an example. When somebody slapped me, and I said that, may God forgive you. The moment you make this utterance, everybody around will say that you have been defeated. They begin to make fun of you. Oh, you are weak because you have been slapped and you are not able to slap back. But in the spiritual realm, God knows that you are strong and you have overcome Satan for not slapping the person. Because all that Satan was looking for is that when somebody slaps you, you can slap the person back. When somebody insults you, you can insult the person back. But when somebody insults you and you did not insult the person back physically, everybody who will see say that you are weak, you are not strong. But spiritually, you are strong before the sight of God. So one thing about spiritual strength is that it will always manifest as weakness in the flesh. If you see how Jesus Christ was beaten, Jesus Christ was treated on a cross. He has the power to command fire to come. Jesus Christ has the right to slap them back. He has the right to fight with them. But Jesus Christ did not fight with anybody. He rather said that, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they are doing. And Bible says, by this weakness that we see that he is weak, in the spiritual realm, Jesus Christ has overcome principalities on the cross. Our spiritual strength, it manifests as weakness in the flesh. People will think that you are weak, but that is the spiritual strength of a believer. When somebody insults me or does something against me, that he is expecting me to keep bitterness, to keep weakness. And you are able to reply the person with the character of Christ. You do not keep any bitterness, weakness, and you begin to even show love to the person. It determines your spiritual strength before the sight of God. That is why when you talk about spiritual strength, it's not somebody who can pray for 9 hours. No. It's not somebody who can preach on Facebook and TikTok. No. It's not somebody who is preaching the streets. You can preach in the streets, be on Facebook and TikTok, but you are weak. What does it mean? When somebody offends you, you cannot forgive. It means that spiritually you are weak. Somebody can carry speaker, pray for 9 hours, can go for evangelism, and when you are not able to forgive people their sin, when you cannot humble yourself to your husband, you cannot love your wife, it shows in the spirit that you are weak. But before the sight of men, hey, this man is good. Imagine you are talking in front of about 100 people and somebody slap you in front of the 100 people. Everybody will say that, he has slapped you. You are not strong. He has slapped you. See, he has beaten you. They will all make fun of you that he has slapped you. But the moment you slap the person back, Satan has defeated you. Because our fight with Satan, we don't use physical muscles to fight Satan. We use the weapons of God. That's the spiritual armor. The kindness, the faithfulness, the joy, the patience, the self-control. These are the armor we use to overcome Satan. So when somebody slap you, you say, may God forgive you. That moment, you have overcome Satan. Number one, you have also gotten that person. Because when you're able to portray that character to the person, next time, when you speak to him about Jesus, he will listen to you. He will now begin to have a change of mind. How did I slap this woman? And this one did not slap me. Now that you even come and say, brother, I'm sorry for what I did. Whenever you introduce Christ to the person will accept Christ. And through that character, you have won that person when you become Satan. Our spiritual strength, it manifests as weakness. Let me ask you a question. Now, if I go for gym, I carry metals for about 500 years. I carry metals for 200 years. Can I beat Satan? Can I beat him? If I go for gym, I begin to carry metals. I carry metals for 200 years and I begin to get muscles. Can I beat Satan? No, you can't beat Satan without muscles. That muscles cannot beat Satan. But what can beat Satan is godly character. Your husband has insulted you and you are still cooking for him. Satan becomes surprised. He has been defeated. Satan wishes that if your husband says something, you also insult him. When your husband says something, you too, you want to reply. The moment you begin to respond to your husband, you dear, I regret for marrying you. Oh my dear, I know that I make mistake. Please forgive me. Please help me that I can become a woman that you like. That's why God connected me to you. God knows that I'm not perfect. He connected me to you that you can train me to become like you. And when your husband hears this, he now become calm. You have won your husband. You have overcome Satan. But when your husband say 1, you say 10. He say 2, you say 20. Number 1, you have been overcome by Satan. And number 2, your husband is also taken away from you. 1 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 25. This foolish plan of God is wiser than the wisest human plans. The foolishness of God is wiser than the most wisest human plan. And it says, and God's weakness is stronger than the strongest of human. When God is even weak, that is the most stronger than any stronger human being. So when Jesus Christ was going to the cross, everybody who saw him at that time, you go to a time that somebody told Jesus that if you say that you are the Son of God, save yourself and save us. You save people, but you cannot save yourself. They were saying all kinds of words to Jesus Christ. But before the sight of God, Jesus Christ is the most strongest. And many believers, before the sight of God, we are not strong. Beloved, our spiritual strength depends on the character of Jesus Christ. Our spiritual strength does not depend on muscles. Saying, I will say some. If you insult me, I will insult you. If you say it, I will say it. That is not our spiritual strength. Our spiritual strength manifests as weakness in the flesh. Everybody would think that you are a fool. Everybody would think that you are nobody. How can somebody say this and you are not saying something? Why don't you do this? Why don't you say this? Why have you forgiven him? If it was to me, I cannot forgive him. That is the carnal strength. Me, I will not allow him to cheat me. Me, I will not allow him to cheat me. You are going to do all this, but I'm telling you, it is a sign that spiritually you are weak. So anytime we begin to expose our carnal character by keeping bitterness, by insulting, by fighting people, that by doing this, it's a sign that spiritually we are becoming weak. It doesn't matter how long you can pray. It's a sign that spiritually you are weak. First Peter chapter number 2, verse number 20 and 23. Of course, you get no credit for being patient if you are beaten for wrong. But if you are suffered for doing good, endure it patiently. God is pleased with you. For God called you to do good, even if it means suffering. As Jesus Christ suffered for you, He is your example, and you must follow in His steps. Jesus Christ suffered and left us example that we should follow Him. Today, pastors will tell you that you don't need to suffer. Kill your enemies. The moment somebody offend you, die by fire, die by fire. Bible says Jesus Christ set example for us that we should also suffer. He suffered and gave us example that we should follow His steps. Today, pastors will tell you that when you become a Christian, you must prosper. They begin to preach prosperity. When you become a Christian, you don't need to suffer. And they all preach prosperity, prosperity, prosperity. When somebody offend you, die by fire, die by fire, die by fire. But the Bible says Jesus Christ, He suffered and He gave us example that we should follow His steps. For God called you to do good, even if it means suffering. Just as Jesus Christ suffered for you, He is your example, and you must follow His steps. Verse 22. He never sinned nor ever deceived anyone. He did not retaliate when he was insulted, nor threaten or revenge when he was suffering. He left his case in the hands of God, who always judge fairly. Bible says, when Jesus Christ was beaten, He did not beat anybody back. When He was insulted, He did not insult anybody. He did not threaten anybody. You will see. If I get to my kingdom, you will see. I'm the Son of God. Don't you? I'm the Son of God. Bible says He went through all this suffering, and Jesus Christ gave us example that we should follow His steps. People around you will see that you are a fool. They will see that. So why don't you also take boyfriend? Why don't you take girlfriend? Why don't you also dress anyhow? They will see that you are a fool in the sight of men. They will see that you are weak in the sight of men. But I'm telling you, that is the spiritual strength. If you beat me, I beat you. If you don't greet me, I will not greet you. If you insult me, I will insult you. If my wife, if you humble yourself, I will also love you. No, our weapons are not carnal. We don't use human weapon to fight. Bible says we use God strong weapons. When Stephen was being stoned to death, he said, God, forgive them. This is the weapon God wants us to use. The weapon that Satan cannot use. Satan can produce all these weapons. The grenade, the bomb, the gun. He can give people reason to knowledge to do all these things. But for Satan to make you humble yourself to your husband, he cannot do that. For Satan to make you love your husband, your wife, he will not do that. These are the weapons that God wants us to use. So when you become a believer, rest assured that in the sight of men, you are going to look as weak. Why don't you also drink? Why don't you also beat your wife? If this woman, if I have slapped her, my wife will not talk. I will slap my wife. There are some married couple that the moment they are coming home, their wife wish every day their husband will travel. I'm telling you, their wife, they wish that their husband will travel, because when the man is in the house, there is no peace. Women also, their husband wish that every day they will travel, because whenever they are in the house, there is no peace. So whenever they say that, my dear, I want to go and see somebody, they say, how much will you need? The husband always wish that the wife will travel, because whenever the wife is in the house, trouble. Our weapon is a spiritual weapon, the weapon that the world cannot carry. If somebody is carrying forgiveness and somebody carry weapon, forgiveness is more powerful than weapon. Because when you come to me with a weapon, you're going to shoot me. You can just say one or two words and that person can put the gun down. I saw a video whereby a husband in US, the husband saying that the wife should leave the house. The wife should leave the house. So the husband was packing the belongings of the wife, that the wife should leave the house. And when I watched the video, the woman said, I will call the police on you, they will arrest you. And I said that all this case, whatever is happening, just a word can settle everything. Just a word. It's the matter of the wife to say, I am sorry. the husband to say, I've forgiven you. These two words can settle everything from each angle. The husband was sacking the wife from the house. The wife should go out of the house. The wife was, I'll call the police, they will arrest you. If I touch my back, touch my distance, they will arrest you. And I said, if I look at all this, it has taken about 20 minutes to argue. But common one word from the wife will settle everything. Just for the wife to say that, I'm sorry, my dear. For the wife to say that, I am sorry. The husband to say that, I've forgiven you. Just one word from any of them will settle the case. But because they are using carnal weapons, I will show you. You will see all these weapons are carnal. You see, by only one weapon of forgiveness or humility of saying sorry, all this battle will end. Do you know that Ukraine and Russia, they are battling? If one person says, I've forgiven you, one person took a step, just one word of the Lord, they will all be silenced. So I said that when somebody is carrying gun, weapon, just a word, our weapons are not carnal. Just a word from one person will settle everything. Armed robber, he came to a house to steal. And before the armed robber left, he has given those whom he was about to steal, he gave them money to go and buy food. When the armed robber back to the house, hey, bring your money. And the little child said that, please, we don't have any money here. From since morning, we have not eaten. My dad and my mother, we have not all eaten. And the man said, it is true. We have not eaten anything, please. We don't have anything in the house. Don't kill us. And the armed robber said that you have not eaten. He said, yes. He said, take money and go and buy food. The armed robber gave them money. He came for armed robbery, not knowing that he's coming for donation. But when he entered the house, hey, we will not die. He would have killed all of them. Some junior pastor and senior pastor are fighting. Just a word. Daddy, I'm sorry. My son, I've forgiven you. Carnal. But today, this one will throw bomb. So you can see that most of the pastors, we have turned our pulpits to exchange of words. If you see all these marriages which has divorced or collapsed, out of them, because of lack of the spiritual weapons, they were all using physical strength and they have neglected the spiritual power. Come on, humbling yourself, submit to Jesus to give you that grace. Love your wife. Because they have refused to use this weapon, they have now ended in all these things. This morning, the Lord wants us to understand that when we become a believer, applying our spiritual weapon, those who are around us, they will think that we are weak. They will think that we are weak. Matthew 5:38-39 says, you have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. But whoever slaps you on the right cheek, turn the other to him also. He said that whoever slaps you on the cheek, turn the right to the person. What does it mean? When somebody does something to you, don't retaliate. Learn how to endure. When somebody offends you, when somebody insults you, when somebody even treats you spitefully, don't retaliate. Turn the left hand. Hey, imagine, let me ask a question. When somebody slapped me, all my friends around me, what are they going to say? You are not strong at all. This small boy has beaten you. They have slapped you. They will see that I'm weak. But spiritually, do you know what God is saying? Well done, my son. You are strong. That character that you showed, you have beaten Satan. By now, Satan is bleeding. You have overcome Satan by that character. But the moment you slap the person back, Satan has overcome you. You beat the person all right, but you have been defeated before Satan. So God wants us to be concerned about our spiritual victory than physical victory. Jesus Christ, he wants us to set our hearts on the spiritual victory than the physical victory. That is why Jesus Christ, he was beaten. He did not retaliate. They spat on him. He did not spat back. They slapped him. He did not slap back. They gave him all kinds of treatments. He did not respond. But when he went to the cross, what did the Bible say? Bible said that he overcame principalities on the cross. They thought that Jesus Christ has defeated. Now, who are they mentioning his name now? Everywhere you go in the world, they say Jesus. They say Jesus. Everybody is mentioning his name in the whole world. What came? It's because of the character he exposed. Because of the victory he won. You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. Verse number 44. But I say to you, love your enemies. How can somebody become my enemy? Pastor, my husband, he this, my husband. Bible say love him. Love him. There is nothing you can do. There is no aquanture for you. Christ said love him. Show love to him. Show him love. Because if you fight back, it will not resolve everything. But showing the person love. That is why in the book of 1 Peter 3, verse number 1 up to verse number 3, Peter told the women that, women, submit yourself to your husband. If even they refuse to obey the good news, by your character, they will be won without a word. That means that when a believer is able to expose a godly character, it's a form of soul winning. We are all going to walk in a godly character. There is no need to even go for evangelism. Because by our character, we shall win them. Bless those who curse you. So how can somebody curse me and I bless the person? Everybody will say that I'm weak, right? When somebody curse me, I bless the person. Everybody will say that you are not strong. But spiritually, you are the most strongest. It means that we don't fight physical battles. So spiritually, you are stronger than that person. He says, bless those who curse you. And he says, do good to those who hate you. When somebody hates you, do good to the person. So if you want to know that a Christian is matured in the spirit, look at their character. When they insult them, they will not insult you back. No matter what you do to them, they will not respond. I can pray for 9 hours and that doesn't mean that you are strong. You can pray for 9 hours and you cannot forgive. It doesn't mean that you are strong. Oh Jesus, when I went to the mountain, I do fasting 9 days and 9 days dry fasting. You did 30 days dry fasting and your church member, you are cursing him. You are cursing your junior pastor. I did 10 days dry fasting. It doesn't matter. 10 days dry fasting doesn't mean that you are strong in the spirit. But let your character prove that you are strong. So brother, listen to me. One thing that is an example to our spiritual maturity, that we are strong in the spirit, is what? Is the character that we portray.